Hey you guys, before I got into the video, I just wanted to talk briefly about my new ebook, Zodiac Signs Sex Language. Whether you're looking to improve your sex life and your dating life, or if you're just looking to expand your knowledge about astrology, this is definitely the right book for you. This book is meant to help you improve your sex life, your dating life, and your love life, your relationships, and to spice it up in the bedroom if need be, or to just once again help you learn more about astrology. So if you're interested in any of these things, if you're interested in learning about the different love languages and the different sex languages of the zodiac signs, definitely look into getting this book, Zodiac Signs Sex Language, written by me, edited by me, and designed by me, Lamarr Townsend. So you can purchase this ebook on my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com, or you can purchase it on Amazon, on the Amazon Kindle ebook store, all right? Or just amazon.com. All right, into the video we go. Thank you for listening and watching. The Mars sign in astrology rules how we take action on our desires, but there's more. So people sometimes get it mixed up and think that we are just our sun sign, but we are so much more than just our sun sign. We are actually, we all have a birth chart, a natal chart, and a birth chart, a natal chart is a placement of the planets in the sky at the time you were born. You even have a birth chart or a natal chart for your business. Yes, your business has its own horoscope, meaning the date that you establish your business is the date that your business was born. So you should get a business horoscope, a business birth chart reading from me at lamarrtownsendtarot.com. You should also get a personal birth chart reading from me or a compatibility birth chart reading from me at lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Astrology reading, I would love to read for you your birth chart or your business birth chart. And today we're going to talk about the Mars placement in a birth chart. So Mars rules how we take action upon our desires, but Mars is so much more. Just like our birth charts, we're just not our sun signs, we're so much more. So Mars also rules how we express our raw energy. Now, expressing our raw energy is taking action on our desires. Now, depending on our Mars placement, expresses how we take action on our desires. Mars also rules how we express our sexuality. It rules our aggression, what makes us angry, what makes us mad, okay? And also rules, our sense of self-assertiveness, how we assert ourselves. So Mars in the water signs. Mars in the water signs, these people are going to assert themselves emotionally. Now, it depends on the water sign placement. Mars in Scorpio is most likely going to be the most self-assertive out of the Mars and water signs, okay? Because Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. So naturally, Scorpio is going to be very self-assertive, very confident in themselves, and very confident in their actions. Now with the Mars and Scorpio, they're always looking at the deeper meaning of things, the deeper meaning of their actions and the actions of other people. For example, Mars and Scorpio could have a Mercury in Gemini, which is like, not too concerned with the actions of people, but with a Mars and Scorpio, the actions of someone is going to be very important, all right? Because, for example, a Mars and Scorpio is not going to like it if someone acts like they're better than them, all right? A Mars and Scorpio is going to naturally want to prove to that person or show that person that they're not better than them, they're equal to them, or maybe they're better than the other person. They feel that. I don't know, it really depends. Mars in Cancer and Pisces are going to be more gentle in their approach to certain things, and Mars in Pisces is going to be way more open-minded into how they go about doing things, how they assert themselves and go after their desires, because Pisces is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. So Neptune rules spirituality, the metaphysical. Okay, it also rules it rules so many things, but there's one specific thing that I want to bring across that it rules. To coincide with Mars in the spiritual aspect of Mars. It rules our hidden strengths and weaknesses. It also rules solitude. That's what it rules. The Neptune rules solitude, our ability to be alone. So naturally, a Pisces will tend to think before they act. Unless a Pisces really feel something and just has to express something off the bat. You know, they just get a feeling, because sometimes the water signs will act on their feelings, like a Mars in Scorpio will naturally act on its feelings because of that Mars energy. All right, Mars in Cancer, or Mars in Cancer, yes, Mars in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon, so this is someone who is going to go by their feelings. You know, this is someone who's going to naturally act on their feelings. At times, good or bad, because Cancer rules the feelings, the emotional self, our sense of emotional security, our inner self, right? Our inner child, things of that nature. Cancer, or the moon, also rules home and family, so don't mess with this person's family or they will come after you, most likely, okay? Very protective of their family and their loved ones, okay? But this is someone who's very gentle in their approach to life, very, tends to consider other people's feelings when going about things, which is interesting because Mars doesn't always consider people's feelings, which is why Mars in Aries, for example, or Mars in Scorpio, also having that Mars influence, can sometimes be seen as abrasive. Speaking of Mars and Aries, let's move to the fire signs. Mars and Aries can be seen as very abrasive because this person is naturally very self-confident in the way they go about life. They are a natural leader. They follow their instincts. You know, they sometimes don't consider other people's feelings. You know, they can sometimes step on people's toes, you know, and it's just a part of being a Mars and Aries. You know, they're very confident, powerful people with that Mars and energy. Aries is ruled by Mars, so this is someone who's super confident in the way they go about things, very confident in the way that they express their sexuality, whereas the water signs are more emotional. They kind of lure you in. It takes them a while to kind of really express their full sexuality unless they have Mercury or Mars in Scorpio, okay, which they naturally just have that Mars energy, that sexual energy, right? Which is why Scorpios tend to be so sexual, especially Mars in Scorpio, but we're seen as sexual. But Mars in Aries is just someone who's confident in the way that they express themselves, because remember, Mars is how we express our raw energy, right? Mars in Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun, so this is also someone who's very confident in expressing themselves, going after what they want. Leo, or the sun, rules self-confidence, our connection to our higher purpose and our higher self, you know, our life purpose. So, you know, when it comes to how they go about doing things, they're deliberate. You know, they typically have a reason for doing things, even if sometimes they don't understand why they're doing something. You know, their higher self does a lot of times. So this is someone who speaks their mind, who does what they want. You know, can like you one day and then not want to speak to you the next day, you know, and not want to explain to you why they don't want to speak to you. It may take them a while, you know, to explain why they don't want to speak to you. It really depends. Mars and Leo go by how they feel. Mars and Sagittarius are kind of similar, but, you know, more optimistic, you know, doesn't hold grudges. This is because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion, growth, you know, higher knowledge, higher learning, education, okay? This is also about open-mindedness. Open-mindedness, the ability to be tolerant, the taboo. So, Mars in Sagittarius. My Mars is in Sagittarius, so this is someone who can actually be a bit clumsy in how they go about things, because Sagittarius is not always the most focused and dedicated, especially when they're not passionate about something, but sometimes even when they are passionate about something, sometimes there's passion can sometimes override their ability to focus and, you know, really buckle down and kind of stay on course or topic. Case in point, right? But this is someone who's super passionate, who's going to speak their mind, who's going to do what they want, especially because it's a Sagittarius. This is a person who's going to do, well, actually all the Mars and fire signs are going to do what they want, but this is someone who's going to do it in a kind of an unpredictable way. Like, why is this person acting like this? You know, Sagittarius, Mars and Sagittarius can be someone who's very detached, but at the same time likes to be attached. They like to do their own thing, but they like to also be in the midst, in the know of everything at the same time. So there can be that dichotomy, but this is also someone who is brave, courageous in the way that they go about things, who can have great luck in kind of landing on their feet, even if they don't have a plan of action. Same with all the fire signs, though. Mars and fire signs. Mars and earth signs, Mars and Capricorn. This is someone who's super deliberate in their actions. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Mars enjoys being in Saturn, okay? Because Mars enjoys being in tough planets, okay? Like Saturn, like, what's another tough planet? Like Saturn, like, I want to say Uranus, like, you know, like Neptune. Neptune is pretty tough, like Pluto, you know, so Mars enjoys being in Saturn. Mars enjoys being in Capricorn, okay? Mars and Capricorn people are very deliberate, very tough people. When they have a goal, they go after it full force. These can be very achievement-oriented people. They like to see results. They like to see action, okay? They like to see tangible results, kind of like Mercury and or Mars and Sagittarius, okay? Or even all the Mars and Earth signs, which we'll get into here in a second. But these people like to see results of their actions, okay? They like to know that their actions are getting them what they want, okay? These people are very dedicated, very persistent, and very strategic as well. Speaking of strategic, let's move into Mars and Virgo. Mars and Virgo is super strategic because here we have that Mercury energy, that very analytical energy, okay? Mars in Virgo is someone who is also methodical, someone who is a thinker before they act. This is someone who's going to think before they act, think before they speak, okay? So much as to not be seen like a fool, of course, but so also to not be seen as, I swear that was the chair, my shirt or my pants rubbing against the chair, if you heard that. But, Mars in Virgo is someone who also lost my train of thought. Mars in Virgo is also someone who, what was I saying? Mars in Virgo, analytical, detailed. Mars in Virgo, thinking before they act. This is someone who thinks before they act. Thinks before they speak. Alright, so much as to not be seen like a fool, but also to not make a mistake. They don't like making mistakes. They don't like making mistakes, okay? Mars in Virgo hates making mistakes, so they really like to plan. They like to organize so that they can move freely, okay? So that they know where everything is. This is that type of person. Mars in Taurus is a little bit more free, okay? Because Taurus is ruled by Venus. Now, Mars doesn't really like being in Venus because Venus, we'll get into this in a second with Libra, Venus is all about friendship, harmony, and beauty, and romance, you know, and things like that. And Mars likes romance, but Mars is more so concerned with the sexual side of romance, which is great because Taurus is a very sensual sign, you know, sight, taste, smell, touch. But Mars likes action. Taurus likes to kind of sometimes not be so active. Mars and Taurus can be someone who likes to, at times, only do enough to just get by. Alright? Sometimes Mars and Taurus can be someone who can think more than they actually do. Which is great because by the time they actually do, I just saw a comment on my YouTube. A comment posted because I get them on my YouTube on my MacBook all the time, even when I'm doing videos and personal client readings, and birth chart readings. So contact me for your own reading. But yeah, they said I could listen to you talk, I guess, for hours is what they said. It just kind of trails off. But thank you. I don't want to say your name, Tiabra. Alright, but anyways, moving on. Mars in Taurus, right? Mars in Taurus. Okay, so Mars in Taurus is someone who can think more than they do. This is someone who can be more concerned with how things look than what things actually are sometimes. This is someone who is very deliberate in the things that they do, very dedicated. But once again, is also very comfortable, likes to be comfortable, likes to, you know, relax, you know, a lot, you know, because Taurus or Venus rules leisurely time. You know, this is someone who likes to spend money because Venus rules money. So, this is someone who, at the same time, though, is very dedicated. When they want something, they go after it. And Mars likes that. Alright? Now, the great thing about Mars and Taurus is that they know how to do it in such a way that they finesse the situation for their benefit. Alright? And that's what makes them so amazing. Because without that Venus energy, Mars wouldn't be able to finesse the situation. And by the end, like for example, if Mars is in Taurus, like Mars, throughout the duration, would hate being in Taurus, but by the end, Taurus and Mars would have probably created some type of magic, meaning some type of change in the world, like a better just energy in the world in terms of people doing more, being more focused, or just people being more focused, like, and then by the end of it all, Mars will be like, wow, we really make a great team, Taurus. We really make a great team, Venus, right? Like, that's kind of how it is, It's like, a Mars and Taurus, like, can be seen as kind of lazy, can be seen as detached, can be seen as hard to kind of reach, like, knock, 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 but by deadline time, it's like they have everything done. It's just like, how did you do that? Like, it's like Venus energy. They can whip anything up at the last minute. They can whip brilliance up at the last minute. They can make anything look beautiful, right? Speaking of Venus energy, let's move into Mars and Libra. Libra's an air sign, okay? So Libra's ruled by Venus, and Venus is, all about friendship, harmony, beauty. So Mars and Libra, Mars and the air signs tend to be thinkers rather than doers. Okay, not all of them. But Mars and Libra is definitely someone who is a thinker rather than a doer. This is someone who can get other people to do for them, other people to think for them, actually, a lot of times, even. This is someone who is good with words, good at manipulating situations, good at manipulating people's feelings and thought processes and psyches. And this is someone who's a really good observer of people's actions, other people's actions. So, this is someone who is good at manipulating that situation too, right? So, Mars and Libra is very crafty, all right? This is someone who's very crafty, a thinker before they act, all right? Likes to sit back and relax, all right? Likes to sit back and observe rather than actually do the work, kind of like Mars and Taurus, right? But very crafty, very intelligent, all right? They don't mind getting their hands dirty when they need to, but they'd rather not, all right? My moon's in Libra, so Mars in Aquarius. So Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and Saturn. Uranus is all about eccentricity, innovation, technology. Okay, this is also how we work in groups, how we go after our own personal goals and aspirations in our life. So Mars in Aquarius is someone who is a very group-oriented person, works well in groups, may have a lot of friends, but often finds themselves in one-on-one situations, maybe where they are dealing with a one-on-one person, like a person one-on-one, or an entity one-on-one, like a boss, a corporation, something like that. They can have difficulty kind of standing up for themselves, or they can just have difficulty knowing what right actions to take on the spot. And the interesting thing with that is Mars knows the right action to take on the spot. Even if it's not necessarily the right action, Mars always ends up on top. And Mars likes being in Saturn, because Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn. And I know I said Uranus was a tough planet earlier, but I forgot that Uranus is all about change. Uranus can be very unpredictable, and Mars doesn't too much like that. In terms of their actions, Mars and Aquarius can be very predictable, but when they have dedicated themselves to something, they can be very, very strong-willed, and dedicated, all right? And that's that Saturn energy. So all right, Mars in Gemini. All right, Mars in Gemini. As we end this session, we went through the earth signs, the fire signs, right, the water signs, and now we are ending with the air signs, Mars and Gemini. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and yes, now the interesting thing about Geminis is that they're symbolized by the twins. So typically one twin is symbolized as doing one thing, wanting one thing, the other twin wanting another. Okay, so Mars and Gemini can be someone who can be contradictory in their actions. Okay, they can do one thing, say another. Okay, especially if they're, depending on their Mercury placement, right? Check out my Mercury video. But yes, this is someone who can be unpredictable in their actions at times. This is someone who can be very creative as well on, their actions, how they go about things, okay? How they express themselves, Gemini is a kind of unpredictable energy for Mars. It's a very exciting energy to be around, Mars and Gemini people. You never know what they're going to do next, what they're going to say. They never know what they're going to do or say, depending on the situation or the context of the situation. Very fun to be around. This person can always find something to do, something to find themselves interested in, okay? So yes, this is the Mars series. If you want to know where your Mars is or what your Mars says about you, your Mars placement, contact me on my website, LamarrTownsendTarot.com, for a birth chart reading, a compatibility birth chart reading, love compatibility birth chart reading, regular compatibility birth chart reading, or a business birth chart reading, all right, individual birth chart reading, or even Also, Mars rules the first house, which is the self-image. So, yes. With that being said, if you would also like a psychic tarot reading or messages from your spirit guides, contact me on my website, LamarrTownsendTarot.com. I'd love to read for you either way. Please follow me on my social media, like me on my Facebook, okay? Instagram at Lamarr Townsend, Facebook, Facebook.com/Lamarr Townsend Official. Please share, like, subscribe, okay? Thank you guys for listening and watching. I appreciate you. Namaste, love, and light. See you in the next video. And see you for your reading. Hey guys, thank you for listening and watching. Please hit the like button, share with your friends and your family, and also please subscribe, of course. And if you're interested in my ebook, check out my ebook, purchase it on my website or on Amazon. I would also love it if you would follow me on my social media, Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, thank you guys for listening and watching, and I'll catch you in the next video, alright?